My name's Chris.
And I'm Emily. Welcome to the Recycling Center. The technical name for this place is the Regional Material Recovery Facility, or MRF for short.
Blue Box Recyclables come here from your community and many other municipalities in the area. This is a two-stream system. That means that your recyclables need to arrive here already sorted into two groups. Paper products for one sorting stream and containers for the second.
Throughout this tour, you'll see why that makes this one of the most high-tech and efficient facilities of its kind in all of North America. Come on, let's go check it out.
From this monitoring station, we can see that the recycling process here starts with trucks entering at the scale house.
Okay, come on in.
This is where we track all of the materials entering and leaving, by weight, type of materials, where it's from, and where it's going.
Notice the recycling truck is divided into two compartments to keep the paper and containers separated when they're collected. When the trucks arrive here, they unload your recyclables onto the tipping floor, which is also divided to keep the paper and container streams separate. The facility also has two processing lines that run through the whole facility.
In order to keep the streams separate, the two lines never meet. So that means if you mix paper and containers together in your blue box, well, that's a problem for us here because of the extra work and costs it creates.
So here we have a pile of paper, but let's take a closer look. You can see here that there's more than just paper in this pile. For instance, here's a water bottle. The system is designed to mechanically separate paper into different grades, such as cardboard and newsprint. It's not designed to separate things like plastic bottles from the paper stream, so this will have to be removed by hand.
In this case, the water bottle is recyclable, but it's just being placed in the wrong place. The more you look, the more you see things that don't belong. There's another water bottle. There's a juice carton.
And there's a detergent bottle, and here's an aluminum can. All sorting errors. And here, we have a pile that's sorted perfectly.
When you sort it right, it really does make a big difference.
So now we're coming into the container tipping floor.
Here we have a mix of plastic, glass, metals, and cartons. Here, we've got some sorting errors. And here, we have things that just don't belong in a blue box.
Having to sort through all these items that don't belong and then putting them into their correct streams costs a lot extra for us to manage. So here we are in the next phase, the pre-sort room next to the container line. We'll be following the container line throughout the tour, and later on we'll follow the paper line. This is where all of the initial sorting begins. So this is where we figure out the things that just don't belong.
When you put the wrong things in your blue box, like a frying pan for instance, it will get pulled off here. Or if you put recyclables in the wrong stream, the staff here will put them in the right stream. The other big job is to rip open the plastic bags and pull the recyclables out of the bags before they continue through the process.
From here, the items on the container line go through a series of machines that will separate the different material types. The first material to get sorted is the steel containers. That's done by the big rotating belt magnet. Here's how that works. The belt is magnetized, and as all of the containers travel under a powerful magnet, the steel containers get pulled up and stick to the rotating belt as it goes around. Everything else carries on past the magnet.
Now, when the steel containers reach this point, the belt is demagnetized and the steel cans drop down this chute onto a conveyor that transfers them over to the steel storage bunker. Once the bunker is full, the steel will be fed into a baler, then shipped in transport trucks to a steel manufacturer.
Next is the air classifier. It sorts materials by weight. The heavy stuff, like glass, drops down, and the lightweight stuff like plastics, aluminum cans, foil, and milk cartons, and juice boxes are blown up by an airstream.
The lightweight materials travel through the perforator and are punctured and flattened. This makes storage more efficient, and it also makes sorting easier because of the flattened materials won't roll around on the conveyors.
From here, the lightweight materials head to the obstacle sorter. This is the optical sorter.
We program it to identify different types of plastic based on the chemical composition.
It's called an optical sorter because the infrared light sees and identifies each item as it travels under the light.
They really have some awesome technology here. The eye sends an electronic signal to turn on an air jet, which will blow the item in a desired direction. If it sees a number 1 plastic, a pop bottle for example, it will turn an air jet that blows it up. If it sees items made of number 3 or number 7 plastics, like a shampoo bottle or a yogurt tub, it'll turn on a different air jet that will blow the item down. The third direction, or the default, is for everything else. No air jet is turned on, and the items move forward and down by force of momentum and gravity into the middle direction to be sorted later down the line.
Notice how fast the conveyor belt is moving. That's crazy that it can do all of this going so fast.
So here we are in the container sort room, where we sort things like number 2 plastics, like detergent bottles, and polycoat containers, such as juice boxes and milk cartons. The reason these are called polycoat containers is because they consist of several different layers of materials, such as paper and plastic, and in the case of some juice boxes, a layer of aluminum on the inside.
These items are all sorted by hand. As well, the staff sorts out any item that may have been missed by another machine. If you look over there, there's a container of steel cans.
The last thing to be sorted from the container line are aluminum cans, and this is done by the aluminum separator, which we also call the eddy current.
The eddy current induces an electric current in the aluminum cans, and as they pass through a magnetic field, they are repelled in one direction while the remaining non-aluminum items move in a different direction.
Who would have known all these high-tech machines were in a recycling plant?
That's it for the container line. Now we'll move on to the paper line, which has fewer steps, making it easier to follow.
Here we are back in the pre-sort room, where staff are starting to sort through the paper line. The first thing that they do is they remove all non-paper recyclables and transfer them into the container line.
Here, plastic bags are ripped open and emptied onto the paper line, and then non-recyclables are put onto the residual line, which will go to the landfill. We'll come back to that later. The paper is then separated through a screening process. We have 2 large paper screens at this facility. The first one separates cardboard, and the second one separates boxboard and newsprint.
As the paper moves over the screens, the large pieces of paper float along the top and the smaller, lighter weight pieces drop down through the screens. See how the cardboard floats along the top of the screens? After being screened, the paper goes into the paper sort room, where the final sorting is done manually.
Here is where the cardboard receives a final hand sort to ensure that it's a top-grade product.
Remember, when recycling cardboard, make sure to remove all non-cardboard material. For instance, with a tray like this, make sure to remove the plastic wrap. This simple step really helps us out.
Our goal is to produce a top-quality end product. And to do that, we need to produce bales full of recycles free of things that don't belong.
The cardboard is fed into the baler. Paper is either baled or compacted into transport trailers. The baler compacts and bundles with strong steel wires to be shipped off to the mills in Ontario and beyond. In fact, most of the materials stay pretty close to home in Ontario. Here is where all the bales of different product types are stored, waiting to be shipped.
The materials that we produce here are really top quality. And you at home start the process when you take the time to sort it right. It really makes a difference, so thank you.
Here's a transport trailer filled with newsprint, ready to be shipped off to one of the paper mills in Ontario.
Our last stop is the residual line. This is the last chance to capture any recyclables that may have been missed throughout the sorting process.
We're proud of how much we recycle here. 99% of all recyclables that come into the facility are captured. That's the highest capture rate in all of Ontario, and quite possibly North America. Less than 3% of materials that come into this facility are sent to landfill. That includes things that just don't belong, like old toasters or even diapers.
Now, we're not just here to show you this new recycling facility. We are trying to show you that if you just take a little time to properly recycle, we can all benefit and can help clean up our environment. See you next time!